right, so lately I've been looking for inspiration with other creators to kind of really jumpstart some of my creativity, some of my creative processes and workflows. Because I find that sometimes I just kind of get into a space where I just have difficulty taking the ideas in my head and putting them on the paper. So I was watching this interview with Robert Rodriguez over on the Joe Rogan podcast, and one of the things that he said he did is he used note cards to kind of script out his movie El Mariachi. That was, I guess, the breakout movie that launched his career. I think that when I try to write, when I try to take, again, the ideas out of my head and put them on onto like a Google sheet or a Word doc or any kind of like traditional note-taking app, or even just writing them out, like I kind of lose focus, I lose the drive, and I just kind of bail out on it. So I figure that because of that, I should go to a more simplistic process and kind of sketch out my ideas on index cards. Because after all, Robert Rodriguez is one of the greatest directors, creators this country's ever seen, and I feel like he might be onto something here. So if you haven't checked out his interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, you've got to check it out. In terms of just his creative mindset and kind of how he's launched creativity, I think a lot of it is just kind of having no fear of failure, and using every failure that you do experience as a opportunity to grow. So it's really good. But again, I took away from the interview the simplistic view and nature of his planning, his pre-planning, his pre-production planning. So I am working on a project right now for a buddy of mine. It's a new gym, and I want to do like this digital short. I want to do this like creative little short, and I kind of want to walk it out before I just kind of blindly shoot, which is what I've done in the past when I have these kind of ideas or these shoots or these creative creative projects that I work on. It's kind of almost like you have the idea in your head and then you try to like just go and on set really shoot what your brain thinks it has in terms, and inevitably you'll like miss out on something or forget something. And I know it sounds crazy, and I know that how important pre-production is for everybody who wants to take creativity in a kind of a serious manner, but sometimes you just don't have the time because it's a short turnaround, or it's a special project, or it's a fun project with your friends. You don't really have time to kind of flesh it out. You're just like, hey, we have a weekend, let's shoot something, and you shoot something. So this one is a little bit more thought out, and I want to make it something legit, and so I'm going to start using note cards. And so in my idea, I'm going to write out kind of what the I guess the tools, the gear that I'm going to need. So I'm going to need a tripod, and we'll just label this, let's call it the comeback, or I'm back. So I'm just going to write that out. That's the title, right? So for the gear, I'm going to shoot it on a Sony A7 IV. I'm going to use a Rode shotgun mic. There's not going to be a lot of dialogue, but I do want to maybe capture some ambient sound. A single light setup, one light setup, and I'm going to probably need some haze or fog, and a key light for the subject. So that's kind of like, this will be my first foray into it, right? This is my gear card. And so as the scene progresses, it's going to be, let's see, we're going to say like this is going to be like a behind the back shot of a guy on a computer. Right? And we're going to say he's looking at wrestling videos. Catch wrestling videos, to be specific. All right. Okay. Then going to say, all right, well, I want another shot 2, like a close-up shot. And what I'll probably do is I'll put this on like like on a board for my shot list. Because I do use shot lists. I don't want everyone to think that I'm just out here like cowboying it out, not using shot lists or anything like that. I do use shot lists. But that's not the hard part. The hard part is I have the idea of the shots, but it's like the story, it's the narrative. It's telling the story. That's where I've always struggled. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to really honing in on with these cards. So in this, it's gonna be, he's gonna close-up shot. He's gonna hear a knock in the distance of the house. So I just continue onward and forward with the story arc. And so I'm looking at, just to set the scene, right? So that I can go back when I'm making my shot list. And actually, I may even just take these note cards, right? Like these cards here that I have of the kind of rough outline of the story, and then transfer those onto like a more dedicated like shot board, flesh out the script a little bit, flesh out the story a little bit. But I think in doing this, it's going to allow me to kind of take all, and I think that's where I've struggled the most at, is I need to take what's in here, place it onto something tangible that I can refer back to, craft, like make better, right? Instead of just kind of walking through guns blazing, thinking, okay, this is what the story, the idea, or whatever I have in my head. I'm gonna go on set, have the people, like the cast and the crew, get there, and then I kind of tell them the story. I download it to them and say, okay, let's execute. Like, here's my shot list, yada, yada, yada. And I think even in that, which I think was a light years ahead of where I used to be in terms of my creative like process, it still feels disconnected, still feels disjointed, still doesn't feel like I'm fully covering all my bases. So this way, just, I don't know what it was about when Robert Rodriguez kind of mentioned this is like his process. It just clicked for me. It just made so much sense. Yes, I need to get what's in my head out of my head and out of my paper. And these things are handy. I have them in my office. I can just pull them. If I have an idea that strikes, I can just like jot down real quick, and then I can use that as a springboard or a reminder to go back and flesh out the idea more. So in this narrative, what I intend to do is then kind of walk through what I have in my vision for this like minute-long short, where there's an individual who's like desperate for catch wrestling and has some catch wrestling experience, some glory years. Here's like an ominous knock in his house, goes out and investigates it, doesn't find anything, comes back, hears it again, goes back, and then finds like this surprise related to catch wrestling. So that's kind of the story in a nutshell. It's what I had in my head, shot both horizontal for like YouTube and then vertical for other social media platforms. So I need to make sure the framing and the shot list works both ways. Maybe no cast or just one person, one camera setup. But those are the ideas in my head. I need to translate that into something that I can refer back to before I forget what my creative stroke was. So again, I highly recommend you reaching and researching other creatives that you admire. Again, when I went down the rabbit hole of Robert Rodriguez and kind of saw how his creative like pre-production process and creative thinking and execution process, I'm like, dude, that aligns so much with the kind of the way that I do things, or the way that my brain works. And I think that was like the stroke of genius that allowed me to go back in and say, okay, this is, if I can take this, like his blueprint, and kind of mold it to my thought process or to my application, then I feel like I can do a lot better work in terms of maybe dotting all my I's, crossing all my T's, and making sure everything that I want to convey or tell, I convey and I tell through my creative endeavor. So really just can't stress enough that it is an amazing watch if you are interested. But also, I would say that for any creator that you follow or admire or aspire to be, whether that's a film director or an artist or a photographer or a YouTuber or a vlogger or whatever the case may be, don't be afraid to like try to see how their style can kind of fit into your work process and your mind. And obviously, I think you resonate with people that you find creative inspiration for a reason. And in that, I think that there's like this kindred spirit, if you will. And for me, I feel like that's like the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, even kind of like the Guy Ritchie's, even though my style is more of like the Robert Rodriguez fast cut, fast cut, fast cut, fast cut versus like long drawn out dialogue, because I feel like my writing's not that solid. So again, this allows me to do those cuts, right? Cut 1, cut 2, I'll do cut 3, cut 4, and then I'll take all of these cards that I flesh out and I'll put them in a more cohesive package with a shot list, and then I can execute it, because I'm hoping to shoot this in one half a day in my house. If my wife helps me, that'll be amazing. If she's busy, maybe I can get a buddy to come over and help. But yeah, that's kind of been my inspiration in this, like this desire to like be better at like the creative like planning process. It's one thing to have ideas in your head. It's one thing to have all of these amazing thoughts and stories you want to tell and things you want to share or documentaries you want to capture. But if you can't take that idea and flesh it out, then it's just going to ramble on and not be a cohesive sentiment or story, or you're never going to do it because you just forget throughout the life's challenges. I have a day job that sucks most of my time and mental energy out. So what few creative sparks I have, I need to make sure I capture those in a bottle and refer back to them and flesh them out. Otherwise, I'll lose them when I fall asleep, and the next day I got the same like 9 to 5 chaos that all of us have. So, but yeah, this is kind of my new creative like pre-planning process. I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping that once I get the shot and the short done, I'll obviously share it on this channel, and would love everyone's feedback on it. But yeah, just tell me, like, do you guys struggle with the same thing? Are you guys really, or are you guys more more thorough and well thought out than I am? The bar's pretty low on that, though, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, just tell me, what has worked for you? Like, because I'm looking for inspiration, I'm looking for ideas, and I'm looking for notes to kind of help my creative process become a little bit more tangible and a little bit more put together and thought out, where I think that's where I've struggled the most at. So, but yeah, thanks for checking out the channel. I'm shooting on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I thought it'd be a cool little angle to shoot from here on the floor in my office. Plus, I like the colors. Like, there's a lot of color, like LUTs and stuff that look really, really good with this footage for some reason. So, we'll check it out, and I might do more like in studio shots with my iPhone, and then more of like the on the go vlogging with my DJI Action 4, which I still love to death. It's so much easier and convenient than like setting up this whole like iPhone rig with like an external hard drive, because Apple Log takes so much space. And I have like a monitor here with my iPad, so I can kind of can frame and compose the shot. But it's just a huge hassle, and it's not something that you can definitely do on the go. I don't know how people who like professionally shoot on an iPhone can make it a grab and go kind of rig without having like a giant rig on it. It's just like my setup here. It's janky as all get out, but it works. But it would not be mobile in the least bit. So, but if you guys are shooting on an iPhone and have a mobile rig that like allows you to shoot Apple Log to like a external hard drive and capture external audio, let me know what that is, right? Or drop a video so that I can check it out. Because I'd love to do more with the iPhone, just because I always have my phone with me. But right now, the Action 4 is kind of like the grab and go king for me. So, but again, thanks again so much for checking out the channel. Sorry for the iPhone rant at the end, but until the next time, I'll talk to you guys later.